And so to your point, Simone, if we're finding out that they've been incredibly sloppy with their confidential information and with highly classified and secret national security information, how confident can the average American be about Elon Musk and Doge and this crowd handling their information?
And it's hard to see how a drastic cut of nearly 20% of the total FDA staff will not impact the critical functions of the agency. The administration is hemorrhaging our public health agencies and expertise without them, while committee Republicans silently sit by and watch.
Well, that's what happened today to thousands and thousands of HHS employees, and some, including some of the most important leaders of different departments within HHS. What happened? Well, at 5 a.m. this morning, Doge sent an email to all the people that decided to fire overnight. So they get to work and discover they no longer have a paycheck. They no longer have health insurance. And not just the average person, but they fired the person who leads our effort on bird flu. Who does this hurt? It hurts you. It hurts the American public. It's the folks at HHS who give us the health care that we need. They have gutted SAMHSA, which is the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration. This is the primary agency dealing with the fentanyl crisis, all the opioids. They're the ones that are dealing with the epidemic of anxiety and depression among our young people. By the way, you just found out that you get fired, so you're going to call the people in HR, right? See what your benefits are? No, they fired them too. There's nobody to turn to. This is a disaster. And not only that, I'll tell you, as a 4-decade business person, it's the stupidest way possible I've ever seen to lead an organization. To lead an organization, you lift people up, you keep them informed, you inspire them to do good work, you communicate with them at all time. What they're doing is illegal, it's unconstitutional, and every one of us has to fight back in every way that we can.
But then President Trump was sworn in on January 20th. And to this date, despite over 100 executive orders, countless rescissions that have come out of the White House, not one has been directed in terms of lowering the cost of living for Americans in this country. In fact, last week, the Consumer Price Index was released. It showed that prices jumped again at 2.8%, well above the Federal Reserve's target of 2%, which is why interest rates are going to continue to stay unnecessarily high.
Of our president's intention to impose significant tariffs sometime today or tomorrow that may raise the costs for working families in our nation, that may make harder the lives of those who struggle to pay for their children's food and medicines and schooling.
He ran on bringing down costs for American families. Vice President Vance said he wanted to make it as easy as possible for people to have babies. They have not done one single thing to bring down the cost of goods for American families. And so we think this is the least they can do. I'm leading my colleagues in Congress with a letter to Commerce Secretary Lutnick to exempt those essential baby products from their tariffs.
Mr. Gordon Willis Kirk, or Gordy, as everyone knew him, passed away on March 2nd. 3 weeks shy of his 102nd birthday. A proud member of St. Paul's Rondo neighborhood, Gordy was a World War II combat veteran who traveled bravely in the country at a time when the ranks of our armed forces were segregated.
I'm honored to introduce today a remarkable family man, businessman, philanthropist, patriot, and not least, my friend and fellow Arkansan, Warren Stevens. I've known Warren and his family for many years. I'd like to acknowledge his wife Harriet and his children Miles, John, and Laura, and their spouses for their support during his confirmation process. Along with his family and many other Arkansans who have the privilege to know Warren, I'm pleased to offer my full support for his nomination to serve as the next U.S. Ambassador to the United Kingdom. For centuries, the United States and the United Kingdom have enjoyed what Prime Minister Winston Churchill originally termed a special relationship. This friendship, forged on the front lines of 2 world wars, and on the side of freedom during the Cold War, is rooted in our two nations' shared history, culture, and democratic ethos. Our 240-year diplomatic relationship is a bastion for freedom and peace worldwide. Warren is very well suited to deepen and strengthen the bonds with one of our best and oldest allies. Inspired by the example of his father, who graduated from the Naval Academy, Warren has long aspired to serve his country full-time. I'm pleased that President Trump nominated him and that Warren was able to answer the call.
We lost 609 Americans from those Shia militias that were directed by Iran. 609 families that were lost a son or daughter, husband, wife, or mom or dad. That's a lot. We should never forget it. But it doesn't stop there. We also lost sailors on the USS Cole from Iranian-run terrorists. We lost those Marines at the towers in Beirut, the dorms, from Iranian terrorists.
So my question of you is, how many people need to stand up in the U.S. Senate to make this happen? Because I know Democrats are united. I know we're all standing up. But tell me how many people can stand up on the other side. If they stood up and joined you, what a difference it would make.
So I want to thank the Senator for the question. And when I think of people who stand in adversity, I still see you standing in a snowstorm and the strength that you've had as you stood up to fight for affordable health care, stood up and fought for affordable prescription drugs, stood up and fought for farmers and for police officers and for communities. And then you kind of made me pause when you said, well, my mother's getting kind of old. It's getting older. I love her so much. And you said that my brothers, my siblings and I, we alternate weekends just spending time with our mother. It was one of the sweetest things I heard. And then I said to you, what do you do with your mom? And then you brightened up and you choked me up, you jerk, because you said, what I love to do with my mom is to dance with her in the kitchen. You have sat here and given this detailed analysis to show how this group of very wealthy billionaires in this country are so perverting our system by creating these front groups that then interfere in our democracy in the most disgusting of ways. Even if you are like me and you that can't stand the decision Citizens United, even in Citizens United, the majority opinion said, really projected that we should do the Disclose Act, which we have tried to bring to this floor and get passed. It says no more dark money.
Tens of millions of women, the backbone of our families and our communities, stripped of their right to vote simply because they got married. Imagine a woman who has voted in every election since she turned 18, who pays her taxes, who contributes to her community. One day she learns that because her name changed when she got married, she is suddenly unable to register to vote in her state. No amount of documentation, no social security card, no marriage license, no previous voter registration will satisfy the requirements of this bill unless she possesses an updated passport or a birth certificate that matches her current name.
But the truth is, when we have men and women in uniform who are giving up everything, who are laying their lives on the line to make sure that we can protect our sacred rights, and we're just saying that we're going to ask people to simply show up and demonstrate their citizenship, and so we can ensure that only American citizens vote in American elections, they turn this into this. But guess what? Today, in addition, in the House Judiciary Committee, they were throwing a fit because the President of the United States dared to put Tren de Agua members on a plane back to their home country, even though they're violent.
We are actually done with votes this week because the House majority was afraid to take up a discharge petition, a bipartisan one that would have actually allowed new moms and dads to be able to serve in Congress, cast their votes while at home, and be able to take care of their child.